I'm a pretty ordinary person. While numerous acquaintances now call me Big Boss, Significant Other, and other grandiose monikers, just 2 years ago, most of them barely acknowledged my existence. This shift began when I decided to take a bold step and invest in a startup. As the company began to show promise and grow rapidly, I became more visible and respected in my social circles. Suddenly, people who had previously ignored me began to see me in a new light, associating me with success and influence. I then invested in a startup, and it grew quite nicely. First, the small but promising company began to expand and then opened several branches. And now I am already the director of a small but thriving company. Over the past year, we have achieved key milestones. We have doubled our client base, launched 3 successful product lines, and opened new branches in neighboring cities. These achievements have enhanced our reputation and laid the foundation for future growth. Those who are still at school or university often disparagingly say, "What's so special about that?" But in reality, my life has completely changed. Now I can't even go out without my secretaries calling me and asking if I have a spare minute to meet. Allegedly, they want to reminisce about the good old days, but I know they just want me to solve their problems. Such is the history of their so-called friendship. Like any boss, I have to solve production problems every day. Despite the growth of the company, I still don't have a deputy. I prefer to stay on top of things and solve controversial issues myself, which means I have an impressive stack of explanatory notes. One name stands out: Emily Carter. She managed to be late for work 12 times in 1 month. 5 minutes late might be excusable, but Emily had taken it to a new level. She was showing up 40 minutes, or even an hour late. It's baffling. In my company, where the pay is more than generous, employees usually hold on to their seats, willing to devote themselves fully to their work. Emily, however, treated her job as an occasional hobby. Her immediate supervisor shrugged when I asked for an explanation. "There's nothing I can do," he said, especially since traditionally the required employee was absent from the workplace. Such a response made me wonder if there were broader management problems lurking here. Could it be that the lack of oversight and accountability reflected deeper deficiencies in the team's management? This seemed to me worthy of further investigation. Left with no choice, I sent Emily a direct message asking her to meet with me immediately. She broke all her records that day, arriving 21 minutes late. I was tempted to give her a stern reprimand for such blatant neglect, but I held back. With a wife and a growing child, I understand the difficulties people face, obstacles that sometimes seem insurmountable. When Emily finally showed up, she looked a little embarrassed. When we got to talking, she admitted that her tardiness was due to the fact that she was combining work and her search for the one. By her upbringing, she believed that dates should only be scheduled on weekends, but she couldn't resist stopping by for a weekday date. "Why not try online dating?" I suggested. "It's more efficient and doesn't interfere with work." "But where else can I meet a decent man?" she asked, wringing her hands dramatically. At that moment, something changed. Emily looked at me carefully, her gaze lingering for a moment, as if she were weighing her options. She stepped closer, her demeanor becoming more confident and yet mysterious at the same time. To my surprise, she sat down on my lap, a bold move that seemed to blur the lines between professionalism and boldness. There was silence in the room, and I couldn't help but wonder what had led to this unexpected turn of events. Shocked, I tried to maintain a professional tone, but her audacity complicated the situation. While it wasn't the decision I had in mind, it certainly left an impression. That day, Emily showed up to work on time for the first time in weeks. I couldn't help but wonder if this marked a genuine shift in her attitude, or if it was just a temporary attempt to avoid trouble. Only time would tell if it was a turning point or just a fleeting display of obedience.